of your community.
Yeah, but they're the only person out there saying that all men are homos. I mean, why would the men be in there? As soon as he called me a homo, I'd be out of there.
Yeah, or somebody would kick his butt.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that one's a hard one to answer. At the age of 18, it kind of made sense to me, only because he said that men were insecure and men were homosexual. They were really homosexual if they, had beards and mustaches.
Oh, because they wanted to create the female genitalia on their face.
And I was so mortified. I was so embarrassed for my big brother, who'd had one for so long, and that's what he'd known the whole time. And I was just incredibly nice.
What a homo your brother was.
Did you reach?
But he wasn't. But
did you reach the point where once that visual was so installed in your head that every time you looked at a guy, you were like, "Oh my God!" It was like somebody's got their legs spread or something.
Well, I was embarrassed. I was so terribly embarrassed for them. It was a very slow process.
I'm so sorry you have a patch for a mouth.
Deborah, that sounds so whacked. And then when you talk about that he's got painted on sideburns, that's when I would have said, you know what, I can't follow a guy with painted sideburns.
Yeah, see, that's what would have done it for me too. The shoe polish sideburns, and then when he would be urinating behind the podium and all that stuff, that would be, you know what, this guy is out there. Yeah,
well, it's not that obvious. When you get too opinionated about something, I am too. Oh, my God, what a bunch of nuts. I could never do that. And yet it does happen to each of us in different ways. We go into a relationship.
I beg your pardon. Nothing like that's ever happened to me.
Well, no, we go into a relationship where, you really care about the person. They hit you once, but you realize they love you. They buy you gifts. And it's over time. It's a slow process in which you realize something's wrong and you don't know how to get back out.
I would think, in your case, the situation of seeing him as father and this pastor Jesus type figure, and based on all of his teachings, and then all of a sudden this guy ends up pulling out his bone, and this sexual situation with you that you're clearly appalled by. That once all of a sudden he would thrust himself on me like that, I don't think after that I could ever, turn right around, and I don't know how you got past that, because it seems, I expected at that point you'd be like, oh, that I am out of here now.
But at the time, as I talk about in Seductive Poison, I was so afraid. I didn't know who to run to. I didn't know who to tell. That Jim said that he had so many allies in the police force, and I being young and 18, I believed everything he told me.
I guess, that can erase some of the things. But, let's talk about the sex, because this is really strange. I mean, here this guy is claiming to be Jesus, and when he does force sex upon you, he does it with his clothes on, and he just fishes it out and basically rapes you in the back of the bus, right?
Yeah, it was very scary, but I don't,
He didn't even kiss you, though. He didn't kiss you?
No.
Yeah.
Was he wearing his sunglasses?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
No KY?
But I think what we also need to remember is, as children are molested by their parents sometimes, and the child is frightened, they're uncomfortable, they don't know who to tell, they know something's wrong, but this is their father, and if it happens...
But you had a father.
I did, but it happens in Catholic churches sometimes.
And this guy is reeking with whiskey and... Whoa.
Yeah, it seems like there were an awful lot of signs, Deborah, and I'm inclined to think that I could have you under my control if I just was around you for a couple days. Do you think that's true?
I don't think that's true now, but at the age of 18...
I could have controlled... Yeah. I could have been your master?
At the age of 18?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that Jim was, but I think you guys both read the whole book.
So your house isn't loaded with QVC stuff or...
Yes, I did. We read the whole book.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's been reviewed incredibly well everywhere, that it's been honest, and that I do come forward with everything that happened.
It's a great book.
No, I'm not putting down Seductive Poison. I'm just perennially, it's the same way with Heaven's Gate. I always think, what's the matter with these people?
And Heaven's Gate was very different. I mean, People's Temple and Waco were far more similar. Heaven's Gate was sort of a new age group that actually walked into their death knowingly. The people in Jonestown were murdered, and the people in Waco, Texas, were murdered.
But a lot of those people drank the Kool-Aid.
Well, you would too if somebody stuck a gun next to your head and it, had a gun next to your baby's head, and you're trying to figure out what to do.
But you mean to tell me 900 people couldn't overcome a couple of guards or whatever?
Well, 3 million Jews in a concentration camp couldn't overcome their guards either. There's a time over time when you don't have food. I mean, we lived on rice water soup in the jungle for months.
Oh, yeah,
we had no protein.
Sucked.
We were up for 72 hours at a time without sleep. Jim had guns in the forest. We could hear them. He said they were, militants coming in to kill us.
But you drink the poison and it's over. I mean, you run away.
Exactly. That was part of one of my points, is that at one point when I thought at the age of 24 that there was no way out, that life was so miserable, and we had a suicide drill, and he said, come forward and take this, that I did. And when I found out that it was all a ploy to see who would and who wouldn't, I was angry because I wanted out, and there was no way out of Jonestown.
Well, and too, when you first arrived there, it was totally something different that was portrayed anyway. And instead of this promised land and everything else, it was this horrible, concentration camp type thing.
Forced slave labor.
Yeah. You were so afraid that you couldn't stand up and say, by God, let go of my wife. I'm going to...
See, I would have never
even gone down there.
Yeah, well, that's easy to say. I mean,
I'm saying it because it's a fact. I never would have gone down there.
Well, that's wonderful.
But that's me.
But that is you, and there were 900 very bright people. They were black, they were white. Well,
I know.
I think you people were. I think the people that went down there were kind of gullible, and they were looking for something to solve.
Absolutely.
And there's no perfect answer to life. But let's talk about something that never really is answered in the book, and that is these people that ended up in Guyana. They sold their homes. They gave up their life savings to Father. Whatever happened to all that money? Because you guys were living, in squalor down in Jonestown. It sucked. And what happened to the money?
I helped the United States government track down the money and bring it back here. And it was used by the United States government to pay for the bodies being brought back. And the families that lost their members only got $1,000 per person, or some very, very sad amount.
Oh, that sucks.
Man,
what a ripoff!
Unbelievable.
Hey, this is kind of a strange question, but I couldn't help but be intrigued. You mentioned the book that Jones would be preaching for so long that he would actually they'd bring a urinal out to him, and he'd urinate during the service. And then you said, while that investigative report was being read to you by the people who were about to try to bring Jonestown down, he asked for his urinal, and you said he urinated some thick,
brown,
really funky,
brown,
urine.
Yellow, weird.
What the hell was that about? Was this guy really sick?
He was very, very... I mean, obviously he was ill mentally, but he took so many different pills to stop one pain or another that he was actually drugging himself into further...
What did that do to his urine, though? Did anybody ever analyze what would have made his urine like that?
Well, no, but actually...
it must have stunk, huh?
Services, it was done... secretly behind his podium, so nobody...
But you'd think everybody's eyes would start tearing up in the congregation from the stench,
Yeah.
Makes it sound like it stunk.
Did he ever relieve himself the other way? Did he ever loaf, how crazy did it get?
No, it was just during these long services.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
That's weird.
That really is strange.
Now, when Jim Jones forced himself upon you, and he did that twice, once in a bathroom, correct, Deborah?
Right.
You had to then confess, get up in front of the group and say that he asked whoever had forced him to have sex with them because they had threatened suicide, stand up, and you somehow knew that you were supposed to do this. And then you actually got up and said this, and you also said how big he was?
Well, actually, first of all, when he did molest me in the bathroom next to the urinal where urine was dripping down it. Afterwards,
urine,
a couple weeks later, when he told the person that had threatened suicide, I waited for the fool, the creep who had done that to stand, because I knew I wasn't that person. But it was over time that it had happened to so many people, and as I sat waiting for that person to stand, and then I looked up and he was glaring at me. That's when I realized that all these women that I'd hated for so long had actually been treated in the same way, and I did stand, because at that point, again, I didn't want to be hurt.
Had those women also come out and said that he was really well hung? Was that always part of the?
That was, yeah. You heard people say that enough that you just sort of went into the mantra of everyone.
Wow, did he just tell the first person to say that, or was he indeed? Was he well hung?
I don't. No, I don't. I mean, I never saw it. The strange part
That's
is,
a weird question.
I never saw anything, but
it was a pencil, I'm sure.
Mine.
Isn't it amazing how, wouldn't you know it, everybody sooner or later would have to say how hung he was,
What a creep. And then when he caught couples having sex, because no one was allowed to have sex, of course, except him.
Yeah.
When people had sex, they had to get up and say that they were fantasizing about him.
Right. It's in this context.
Wouldn't that be a tip-off? Oh, for Christ's sake.
Over time, People's Temple changed into something like that.
Yeah.
And it was a slow process, and we were isolated from our families first, and that's the other thing. When you're told that yours is the only right way of thinking, and that the friends you used to have before don't think the way we do, and you shouldn't hang around them.
That's when I say you're nuts.
Sign.
Yeah. Especially because a lot of these people would then return to their normal jobs on Monday, right? I mean, at least early on.
But this wasn't just then. This is happening now. There are groups out there. Nobody joins a cult. You join a self-help group. You join a religious movement. You join a political group. It's over time something that can become malignant, and you don't know.
But I think those people have to take some responsibility for what happens to them, because there are a lot of signs along the way.
Yep, and there are signs along the way, and it took me I've been ashamed for 20 years, and I decided I had to tell my daughter where I had been, what I had done, what I had seen.
Man.
To make sure that she didn't follow in my footsteps. But 20 years ago, this was the first, People's Temple created the term cult. I mean, it was always a word, but People's Temple coined that in a way. It was the first cult of death. And my story now, if somebody ran out of a jungle and said, he's planning to kill everybody, please help, people, I think, might listen. But then it was...
Well, I don't know, like that group we were talking about, if they believe that they're actually a flying saucer behind that Hale-Bopp comet, that's pretty damn...
People will buy anything. People will buy anything.
Oh, you're not kidding.
Well, people believe a lot of things. I think people look for answers. We're all searching. We're looking for greater meaning in our life. Some men go totally and become completely obsessed with sex and pornography.
I see that.
I mean, we all have flaws. None of us can walk through life and say, I've never been hoodwinked. I've never, there are seniors, our parents,
this guy ripped off my security deposit once. I'll never forget that.
That's right. I mean, we think, oh my God, it can't happen to us. And then someone calls and says, here, for $50 right now, we'll come to your house and pick it up. You've just won a trip to Europe. And it happens a lot.
Yeah, we got an extra set of speakers shipped to us. Real cheap. Yeah, I know what you mean. But the book, again, is called Seductive Poison. Deborah Layton's the author. And something that you really don't get very specific about in the book, and I think we're all kind of left wondering, is what did your brother do? He was in the Jonestown cult, and he's in prison forever. What was he filling up the vats with poison or something?
No, our mother had died 10 days before the mass killing. My brother Larry was Jim had drugged him with Thorazine, and when on the day that everyone
surprised he'd actually give up his Thorazine stash.
Yeah, really.
For anybody.
Yeah.
And what happened is Larry killed nobody at the airstrip. It was the young boys on the flatbed truck that came out to the airstrip and killed the reporters. And
well, what was Larry doing there?
He was at the airstrip. He was pretending to leave, and he wasn't. He actually injured somebody who was trying to leave, who was a member. And however, that person has begged that Larry be released, that he too is a victim. I mean,
yeah, but Larry shot the guy.
He did, but he didn't. He wasn't killed. Larry didn't kill anyone.
Yeah, but so what did he get? Manslaughter?
No, Larry has a life sentence, and he's considered for conspiracy.
Oh, well, because he was with the group that was shooting the people on the airstrip,
trying to escape and all that.
Yeah, he came out with a different group, but he's being held responsible.
Well, he shot at one of the people. I mean, what kind of a kook does something like that?
Well, when you're pretty much brainwashed, had I been there, I would have gone out to the airstrip and shot at people.
But Deborah, don't you think as a society, there's some of us who say, you know what, I don't want to take it. I know he's your brother and I feel bad about it, but I don't want to take a chance on that guy. If he did that once, why should we take a chance on him? That he might kook out again.
It was not a place to support my brother. I mean, my book doesn't even talk about my brother. I mean, that wasn't the purpose of it. It was more to let people know how it happens and that my brother's in prison. He takes full responsibility for what he did. He's not asked for any special privileges.
Good.
He's done hard, long time for 20 years. He sits with men in hospice who are dying.
Yeah.
He tutors others who are uneducated.
Well, then he's leading a productive life at no risk to society. So, I mean, I have to say I applaud him for that.
He asks for no favors and never has.
But you're trying to get him out.
My book isn't trying to get him out. I mean, I know. I would love very much that someday, after 20 years, and having been involved in an organization that stole our consciences at the time.
Well,
yeah, but he really got carried away.
Yeah, I'm sure
each of us would have. I mean, look at the 900 people that died in Jonestown.
I'm sure Congressman Ryan's family might have something to say about that too, though.
Yeah, you can become completely brainwashed and involved in something, but over time you can get your sanity back.
Yeah, which you did, and it's amazing. Your story of leaving is amazing. Of course, we don't want to tell the whole book, but Deborah does get out of Jonestown, and it's an amazing story of survival. And I'm really impressed by the book. I really enjoyed it, and it's well written. And I mean, I know you have all the right motives, and I hope a lot of people pick it up and you do well with it, Deborah.
Well, thank you very much.
What are you doing now for a living, by the way?
Well, I used to work on the trading floor of an investment banking firm and stopped to write that book, and now I'm writing a book from sort of then to now. How does somebody who's been indoctrinated for 7 years and has a very strange way of thinking, how do you mold? How do you acclimate? How do you become normal again? And what are the vestiges
like
of
escaping
that
the trading floor?
Pardon?
Yeah. No, I see what you're talking about.
When you meet guys and you tell them, I mean, how soon do you tell them, you know what, I was down in Jonestown and I would have probably drank the Kool-Aid, but I got out. When do you tell them that? Like the third date or the first? I mean, that's really weird.
I don't date anymore since I'm married, but
How soon did you tell your current husband?
My fiance. On our second date, he was talking about how wonderful I was, and I said, "Listen, Terry, you don't know anything about."
Carried away a little.
Yeah, right.
And I may look adorable, and I may look all American, but I've been to the dark side. It was only right that they knew truly who I was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
it must be weird.
Wish you luck with your book, Deborah, and it's nice talking to you. The book again is called Seductive Poison,
and it's been getting wonderful reviews. And people say it's like a thriller. It's not academic. You're with me when I'm 17 and I go in, and you're with me when I'm 20 and I'm in Switzerland at a bank account and I'm afraid and I want to leave.
No, I smell the shoe polish. Believe me.
And we'll look forward to the next book, which is about the period after that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Deborah.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Hey, it's Lars from Metallica. You're hanging out with Drew and Mike right here on The Riff.
Weekday night on 101 WRIF.
Let's get him on the horn. They're coming to town. Mr. Jim Carroll, ladies and gentlemen.
Go.
Hey, it's Drew and Mike, WRIF Detroit, calling for Mr. Jim Carroll.
Hello?
Hey.
Jim, were you screening?
Yes.
How you doing, Jim?
Okay.
Hey, Jim, I have to ask you this now. You probably get tired of talking about Basketball Diaries, but was Leonardo DiCaprio, was he kind of a puss, or was he pretty good? I mean, was he a cool guy?
No, he was an okay guy.
Because you seem a lot tougher than him. He seems like too big of a puss to play you, although I thought he did a good job.
He constantly spoke about that to me, you know?
he felt that I wanted some guy who was more into poetry or something.
Yeah.
Like River Phoenix really wanted to do that part, you know?
Oh, I see.
He also thinks he's a great basketball player, which he really isn't. But he felt he was like doing the basketball part. It was no problem. I'm trying to get the director to like shoot from angles and everything to make it look like he's jumping and stuff.
Right.
Off the floor.
That's exactly right.
Could you get up, Jim?
Oh, yeah.
How tall are you?
I'm about 6'1".
Could you dunk?
Yeah, I could dunk ball.
Yeah, I was laughing in one of these stories about you. They said that you really, like a low point in your life was when you were playing pickup with Leonardo DiCaprio when they were working on Basketball Diaries, and he blocked your shot.
Yeah, that was bad. that was a big mistake to even, like, they needed like a six. See, they needed to check out one guy to see if he could act, but they had to check out to see if he could play basketball.
Did that lead to a poem like "The Blocked Shot"?
No, it just led to a real like weeks of depression. How far I've fallen, you know.
You didn't fall back into heroin and start like blowing dudes downtown, did you?
No. But it was very depressing, you know. I hadn't played basketball in about 4 or 5 years, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, who are some of these NBA guys that, because I heard like you kicked everyone's ass when you were growing up in basketball, but then you got into heroin, and next thing you know, all these guys whose asses you were kicking ended up in the NBA.
Well, I grew up in the same neighborhood with Kareem. I mean, he was Lou Alcindor then.
And you were rejecting his shots?
No, I wasn't rejecting his shots, but he was in a very good player until he got like to be a sophomore in high school. I remember he was like 6'11" when he was in the 8th grade.
Oh man,
playing our Catholic school team, and he could just about dunk a ball. You know, he was not very good, and he just get called for 3 seconds because he'd stand around and like the guys would lob the ball into him, and he'd just turn around and shoot it, and they get called for 3 seconds and walking.
He was almost like the chief in One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest.
Yeah, exactly. He was like that. But I played against Tiny Archibald a lot.
Oh, Tiny. Now, were you better than Tiny?
Well, he was older than me too, so I couldn't say I was better than him. But I played against.
Come on, Jim, go out on a limb here one time.
Dean Meminger and.
Well, that's a guy I know. And you were kicking his ass?
Yeah, I could. Yeah.
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 Okay.
Dean was about my age, and then there's a guy named John Roach too.
I remember him. He was big in the ABA.
Yeah, he was a real big star in the ABA.
Jim Carroll at the Magic Stick, and that's Friday at 9, right?
I don't know.
Jim, come on, man. I think you're shooting up again. Friday would be the 15th, correct? Yes.
Yes, sir.
And then you better be there, Jim.
No, I'm going to be there.
Okay.
I know the show in Detroit is on Friday, and the show in Ann Arbor is on Saturday.
That's right. And you're at Borders in Ann Arbor on January 16 at 6 p.m. for a book signing for Void, of course. And Blind Pig in Ann Arbor, January 16th, 9:30 p.m. Now, is that a spoken word deal, or are you rocking out, or what?
No, I'm just reading.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Hey, if there's a band around, I'd play some songs with them, you know?
I got to tell you, People Who Died, I think, is one of the coolest. They call it an underground song. I don't really think it's that far underground. I just think that's one of the coolest songs ever.
We play that, Jim.
Yeah, it got an awful... I mean, it really did get a lot of airplay and stuff.
I think you could probably, if you needed some bucks, you could do a follow-up of other people you know that have died since then, and it would be huge.
I thought of that, actually.
Yeah.
Have enough people died?
Oh, yeah, enough people have died. You know, I mean...
And I have to give you huge originality points for putting your parents on the cover of the album, too. That is one of the funniest album covers I've ever seen.
Andy Leibovitz took that picture, and we spent like a whole weekend of me just with all this makeup on and with this hat that Keith Richards lent me and stuff, you know, really rock and roll looking stuff in all these different locations. And then for some reason, we were up in near where my parents lived, and we went to visit them, and I thought it was a terrible idea. They were, but we went up there, and I took all the makeup off and everything, and then Annie, after all this whole weekend of just
photographers,
yeah, all that. It's good if you have like a chick makeup woman,
Right?
Because it's very sexy.
Oh yeah, oh God, yeah. The way she leans over.
Yeah, when she's if you're sitting in front of a nice looking woman who's putting makeup on you.
Oh, I know it.
Oh man.
The sensations as the brush strokes and and all that is touching your face, and then seeing her eyes and of course her nice love cans dangling in front of you.
I know, and when they did some story on me for Penthouse once, and I thought, she works for Penthouse, she expects this, I'm gonna go for it, And she got really pissed at me.
Oh, Jim,
what'd you do?
Jim seems too sensitive to do that. I'm sort of refreshed to hear that he's a little more common.
When she leaned over to put some stuff on, did you take your thumb and your index finger and attach it to each nipple?
It wasn't that bad.
And then milk her like a cow?
No, he did not. There was no tugging.
They didn't tell me you guys had a routine here.
No, it's not a routine, Jim.
Honestly.
This is just some guy, Yeah. and so, no, I wasn't going there. And so it made it very tedious, And then Annie took these 2 shots of me with my parents,
You're a guy who actually...
Most people don't think it is my parents, really, They think it's like some people we got from Central Casting.
It's funny, Jim, I always think of you as a guy who everyone who's anyone sort of knows or has recognized greatness in one form or another in you, whether it's your poetry, your writing, basketball diaries, your music. But it seems like the masses haven't quite copped to that, because you were signed by the Rolling Stones, right?
Yeah, originally, yeah, I was.
And you hung out with Mick. What's it like to hang out with Mick?
I went to dinner one time. It was the first at Mick's house. It was just Jerry Hall making dinner, and it was the first time. This was really weird, because it was Mick and the rest of the Rolling Stones having dinner together at one table, and they were just sitting there. There was nobody else around except Jerry coming in and out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
And
Mick won't spring for a cook?
He springs for cooks and stuff, but he
only they'll sit on him.
He probably like the home cooking though, kind of thing.
No, Jerry's this Texas woman who loves to cook,
Oh, okay.
What did she make, Jim? What was the main entree?
Oh, it was like a pot roast.
Really? Did it suck? Was it tough or dry?
No, it was really good.
Well, what do you talk about with the Stones when you're just hanging out like that?
Keith has always been he's always been very sweet to me. I think I really think there is some kind of ex-junkie affiliation there.
Yeah. Did you guys talk about some of your mutual experiences?
Yeah, oh yeah.
On heroin? Yeah.
They probably ended up in the bathroom after dinner.
Yeah, right. Well, what's Keith talk about?
He's a lot more aware of than you think,
Yeah.
Because I had said something I guess because the basketball diaries had come out and I was going to be on the Stones label, and I was getting an awful lot of press at this time,
Mm-hmm.
I'd said something in some, rock magazine, I said something like, well, Lou Reed told me I shouldn't get involved with the Stones, because that's like the kiss of death,
Mm-hmm.
He only meant it in the sense, you're a new artist, you shouldn't, you'll just be overshadowed,
Yeah.
The next time I went up to the office of the Rolling Stones, he had left a note for me, with the article pinned up on the door there saying, kiss of death, piss on my breath. It's a lucky thing you put this on Lou. And so, he reads the magazine.
That's funny, Keith. The idea of Keith being anal is just really hard to take.
Yeah.
What about Mick Jagger, though? I have no feeling at all for what Mick Jagger is like,
That's
other than
true.
that he chases a lot of broads and he loves music. I mean, I have no feel for what he's like.
Mm-hmm.
He's funny, and you know, he surprised me too. He was very generous with me. You know, when we were doing our first show in New York, he was actually at the sound check. And he's running around the room telling us, you know, looking for, like, blind spots in the sound and everything, you know? It's Mick Jagger, for God's sake. He's doing this.
Yeah.
And then at other times, I'd see him up at the Stones office. Mick would come up there, and he'd pick his nose a lot.
He'd idly pick his nose, maybe in thought or what have you.
Well, there was a lot of money in that nose.
Yeah, really.
Is that so?
He wouldn't turn around and eat it then, would he?
Probably rub it on his gums. Hey, let me mention again that Jim Carroll has got a poetry reading at the Magic Stick. That would be Friday night at 9. And then he's at Borders in Ann Arbor on Saturday at 6 for a book signing. And then another reading at the Blind Pig in Ann Arbor at 9:30 on Saturday night. This is probably the first poetry reading we've ever promoted. I know on this show.
I would say so.
It's quite a stretch, Jim. But can we go back to Basketball Diaries for a second?
Okay.
I just wondered, there's some pretty heavy scenes in there where you're turning homo tricks to get money for heroin.
Oh, God.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Now, were you homo or like bisexual, or was that just something you just did for the money?
No, I just did it for the money.
Man, how big of a drag was that?
That was very bad. That was the one thing I didn't want to have my parents see. You know?
Yeah.
And what did your parents say?
Or anybody else from my that I grew up with or anything, you know?
Yeah. And how much crap did you take over it?
Well, not. By the time it came out, it just did so well and made me a lot of money all of a sudden for the first time in my life. I mean, my parents couldn't. I mean, my parents were just quite amazed and really happy about that fact. You know,
that's really funny. It's like, a few BJs. What the hell, son? You made a lot of money.
Did it turn to thing like, while the money's flowing and everybody's happy for you, and there's this general feeling of just this incredible, almost euphoria over the situation? Was it like at a very awkward moment during the dinner when your dad said, son, about that phase? I mean, did they ever point blank acknowledge it to you that they had in fact read that part?
Well, my father, he never broached the subject, you know?
Yeah.
Thank God.
Good call.
Yeah.
Yeah. I spoke to my mother about it. I said, this is the only exaggerated part in the book.
Did you say they really weren't hung as much as I said?
I mean, the fact is,
the truth is like 1/10 of what you did. You're like every 10 minutes, Jim. We know.
No, I really was not. Did you know that book, Please Kill Me? That.
Oh yeah, I read that. I love that book.
Yeah, well, they got me to talk about like some experiences in that, you know.
Yeah, I remember that's what reinforced it in my mind. I had almost forgotten or blocked it out.
Oh, great! That did me a real service.
Did you, when you were off doing that, did you ever have to tell the guy, now warn me first?
I'm telling you, I was the worst hustler of all time. I would not do. The only thing I do is let a guy suck my and that was it.
Oh, they just did that? That's all they wanted to do?
No, and I could have made a lot more money being like, and also I
reciprocating.
I could never be with the same guy twice.
Once a
hetero rules of homo prostitution.
Well, it's true. I mean, and that's how you make the money. You get kept by some really wealthy guy or something. But I mean, I was this pretty young kid. I mean, the thing is, though, that I wasn't into it, and once I got off, I mean, I'll tell you, the only way I could really get into it is if they had poppers, if they had amyl nitrate.
Oh man! Well, Jim, now when it was over, how awkward was that?
Well, that's why I can never see the guy again.
Did you tell him to get his briefcase and leave?
They'd want to cuddle, man. and that was when I had the money already, and I just get the away from me.
Guy hasn't even gotten a Kleenex out, and he's like, get out of here.
I wouldn't even cuddle with my old lady, man. I'm going to cuddle with you.
Jim's new book is called Void of Course, and the new CD is called Pools of Mercury, and again, Magic Stick, Friday night at 9 for a poetry reading. Borders in Ann Arbor on Saturday at 6, and The Blind Pig in Ann Arbor Saturday at 9:30. And Jim, I did want to ask you about the whole Andy Warhol period, and what was that like when you were hanging with Andy?
I was around there after he had gotten shot, so it was much more security conscious, and it wasn't like the wild early factory, And then I went away, and I was in this kind of recluse period in California, and when I came back, I saw him at this party, and he said, "Oh, we thought you had died, Then we heard this song, People Who Died on the radio." He'd always say died twice, like it says in the verse. But he goes, "People who died. That's such a great song."
Oh, it is.
And then, well, Andy, anything was great, So you really couldn't take what he said, and you had to take it with a grain of salt. But actually, I really think he did. I know he really liked that song a lot, and the fact is that I really, once I had a touch of fame, then for the first time in my life on a really big level, when People Who Died was really getting played all the time in the radio, and the Basketball Diaries was just coming out and really selling a lot. It was, I just could see him in a different way, and see that this guy has this fame thing down to this incredible goof.
Jim, the book Please Kill Me, which is the story of punk rock, basically, and what a great book it is. Did you like that book, or did you find it to be reasonable?
Yeah, I found it to be reasonable.
Okay, because there's something that's just killed me in that book, and I just need to know if it's even conceivably true, and that is that whacked-out story about Lou Reed.
What's that?
It doesn't ring a bell?
It's probably which one, huh?
Well, it was about a fan who I guess was, Lou Reed was, I think his idol. I'm not even sure if it was a guy or a girl, but who was so excited to meet Lou Reed, and I guess within a short time of meeting Lou wanted to, I think Lou wanted to defecate in the person or on him or in their, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that was one of the guys who wrote the book, Legs McNeil. He was the editor of Punk Magazine, and he was a huge fan of Lou, and he wanted to put him on the cover of the first issue of Punk Magazine.
Right, that would be kind of a drag meeting your idol, and then they want to do that. But
I mean, did he have
I guess Lou never sued, so I suppose it's...
Did he have a penchant for that?
No. Not that I know of, but I know Lou pretty well, too.
Yeah?
Lou's mellowed out a lot, man.
Well, I hope so.
Glad to hear it.
His apartment isn't just a collection of glass tables or anything, is it?
No, he's not into that, man.
Well, I'm just telling you, I read it in the book, and it just about blew my mind. That's why I'm asking, because I knew you guys were buddies, so I figured,
No, not at all.
So that was just some isolated circumstance.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Well, Jim, we're looking forward to you coming to town. You'll be at the Stick, and again, the first poetry reading we've ever promoted on the Riff for Void, of course, and then Borders in Ann Arbor for the book signing, Blind Pig in Ann Arbor Saturday night at 9:30 for another book reading, and if some musicians show up, you might even play a tune.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Well, Jim, we'll have to do it again sometime.
All right.
And hope you make it in okay with the weather and all that.
Oh, God, is that really bad or what?
Well, it's supposed to be okay by the time you get here.
Yeah, by the time you get here, it's actually supposed to be warmer and everything else, so don't worry about it.
That's good.
Thanks for the time.
Okay, man.
Okay,
Take
Jim.
it easy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Drew and Mike.
Hey, what you crying for, boy? It's a good show. This is a damn good show.
101 WRIF, The Riff. High Noon IF.
It's time to
called Bozo, and this is the original Bozo the Clown. I know a lot of people. I don't think... I guess Bozo might still be in business, so he's probably been in business for a long time. But when we were kids, Bozo was really the hot thing. Bozo the Clown. There was no Mr. Rogers. Well, Mr. Rogers was coming along, I think, when I was a kid. But I don't know. I repelled him. I wasn't into that.
I never paid attention. Well, the only time I paid attention to Mr. Rogers, I was living out in California for a couple of years, and my nephews always had it on. So I would always see it, you know.
Yeah, my little brother used to watch Rogers.
That's where I got to know about that Land of Make-Believe and Trolley and that crazy cat. Henrietta. But Bozo, I used to watch that all the time.
Well, we almost came to blows trying to figure out who had the original Bozo, Chicago or Detroit, because I always thought I had the only Bozo. And then when I found out you had Bozo here, I was in shock. I was like, what?
I always thought my Bozo was the only Bozo there was.
That's what I thought. But Bozo, meanwhile, the main reason we're calling him is because he's got a case of the ass at Patch Adams, who he feels has stolen his life story and made a movie out of it. So the concept of Bozo being pissed off, we just think that's so funny, we decided we'd take him up on it.
Well, he has cut out the back of his costume, as I say, and he's used red makeup, and he has, in fact, a red ass.
He's steamed. Come on, Boz.
Bozo.
Well, sure, Westall.
Yeah, Larry Harmon, please.
Just a moment.
Thank you.
You know what? He's always pissed people are stealing his act, he's always, for years, remember that? Goes way back. He was mad at the other Bozo the Clowns. Remember, there's a big copyright fight for years.
I remember him as a kid. I guess that was the real Bozo.
Yeah.
Out of Chicago?
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know.
We had a Bozo local, I always thought. Bozo was Bozo. I mean, I'm almost disgusted that there was more than one Bozo. It's sort of like Santa Claus.
I'll be right with you.
Okay. Bozo's got some people.
Yeah, really.
Tell him a couple minutes.
Hey, what's it
I wonder if he's really like Krusty the Clown.
Yeah, I know. What's it like to work for a clown?
Shut your hole.
Hello.
Hey, is this Bozo?
I think you got the right man or the right clown.
Oh, that's wild.
It's Drew and Mike calling on WRIF Radio.
Hey, how we doing and where are we coming from?
From Michigan, Detroit.
That's right. I just want to make sure you know you come from the best place in the whole world.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, you say that to everybody, Bozo.
No, I don't, because I lived in Battle Creek, Michigan. I was born in Toledo, raised in Cleveland, and spent a lot of time in Detroit. So you're in the right place.
Well, let me ask you something, Bozo. I watched Bozo the Clown constantly as a child, and I thought that it was on a local television station, a local production here in Detroit.
He was local in Chicago.
But
it sure was. It was for as long as I can remember, over a period of probably over 20 years.
Well, who was the guy in Chicago? Who was the Bozo there where I was a kid?
Well, you see...
With Mr. Ned.
Well, you see, I started something that's never happened before, during, or after
you got
in the history of television or radio or anything else.
I'm happy with my Bozo. Well, who was my Bozo?
You see... Oh, it's like Gertrude Stein said, a rose is a rose is a rose is a rose.
Uh-huh.
And what I said was a bozo is a bozo is a bozo.
I couldn't tell the difference. Did you ever...
I love this.
Did you ever end up suing my Bozo?
No, I created the television show in the early 50s, and once I did it and saw how great it was, I figured this is something I probably could do everywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You sure it wasn't... You sure it wasn't my Bozo that started it, and then he gave you the idea?
No, the first one to do it was me, and I created it. So I went to Washington, D.C., and I found Willard Scott.
Yeah.
And from there, then became Detroit, Boston, Philadelphia, Chicago, and then the rest of the world. And that's where it's been for 50-some-odd years.
Okay, but in the beginning, you, in fact, were on the local show in Detroit, right?
No. In Hollywood, from the Paramount Television.
Oh.
No, that's all started in the 50s.
So who was my Bozo?
Bozo.
So I heard that in the end you were mad because that Chicago Bozo ended up being the best Bozo of all.
No, Bob. Actually, the one you watched was Bob Bell.
Yeah, right. He was the best Bozo.
Oh, he was a great Bozo. You're talking to the best Bozo.
Well, who was
No, Bob Bell was awesome.
Well, who?
I wouldn't trade him for anybody.
What was the name?
You shouldn't, because I trained him. He was great.
What was the name of my clown?
Let me see. The one in Detroit, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't even know. Some Bozo.
I think I want to say it was on Channel 4. I might be wrong.
Yeah, so it was Channel 4 and then Channel 2, and then we went to CKLW.
Okay.
For 16.
I got bounced around a little bit.
Yeah.
So the real Bozo has no idea who the Detroit Bozo was, huh?
Art Survey.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
This is what I used to really enjoy with Bozo.
Yes.
He would have a big sketchboard on an easel.
Right.
And underneath it, I think I always thought that what he would do is, I think, take a couple of letters, maybe of a kid's name or something, and then make a picture out of it.
That's right. Mr. Lyon used to do that.
Okay.
Hey, I remember, did you guys have the grand prize game, too?
It's time for the... What time is it? Time for the grand
prize.
Prize game.
With the magic arrows that picked the kid?
That's it.
Yeah, and sometimes the magic arrows would land on a mom, and you'd have to do it over.
You got it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Remember that? Yeah, those magic arrows were crazy. They didn't know where they were going.
That's right. Your memories are fantastic.
And I'll tell you what else. I think, maybe it was as I was growing up a little bit, I think I decided that I saw the picture by the letters and that Bozo was just tracing it instead of being real creative.
No, never happened that way.
No, maybe, well, you don't know. My Detroit Bozo maybe been a little shoddy.
No. All the Bozos were great, and I trained every one of them. I had 183 live Bozos on.
Hey, Bozo, now, do you recall an incident? I think this happened with the Chicago Bozo, who was the best one of all.
Yeah.
Something to the effect that some kid told him, "Cram it, clown," live on Bozo.
That was out of the Boston station.
I thought it was in Detroit.
No, that was out of the Boston station.
Oh, God.
What happened?
Well, we had 30 seconds that we'd give the kid to play the treasure chest game. And what we would do is we would put every day something in that treasure chest if somebody didn't win it. Well, it happened that nobody had won it for like 3 months. It looked like a toy store. It looked like Toys R Us. and this little kid was 5 years old. Now, nobody's a loser on the Bozo show. It's always you're an almost winner. Not a loser, you're an almost winner. And he hands him a Bozo towel as an almost winner. Yeah. And Bozo leans down. He says, "How's that now?" And the kid looks up in his eyeballs. Camera moves in, tight shot. And he says, "Cram it, clown."
Yeah.
What would you do after that? It was a live show. It was in the 60s.
Yeah.
So he says, what all you think about it? He says, that's a Bozo no-no. That's where that came from.
Oh, yeah.
Bozo no-no. And it went boom, right to commercial. And people repeated that story to me.
Yeah.
I've heard that story in my stations in Africa, in Asia.
I thought it happened in Chicago.
America.
I did too. I thought
it did.
I thought it happened in Detroit.
No. It was Boston. I was right there when it happened.
Yeah, because everybody in Detroit.
They said, 40 years since it happened. It is. I say, well, that happened. It is, but not so much a laughing matter, because 55 years ago, I was at the University of Southern California studying to be a doctor. Well, how did I come to study to be a doctor when I ended up being Bozo all over the world?
Well,
my thought was,
it's a coincidence, isn't it?
Well, it's even more than a coincidence. First of all, I give credit to that Dr. Patch Adams, the real doctor, because...
Yeah, there's a real guy.
Oh, yes, Dr. Patch Adams.
And we heard. I don't know if you heard this, but I heard that Patch Adams is mad at you for suggesting that the movie was based on you when it was based on him.
No, I never said that. And it's not based on me. It was based on him.
I thought that's what you were saying, was that you were a doctor at that time, too, and you thought maybe they'd kind of ripped your act off.
No, I never became I did not go to medical school. I gave up. I went into television. I started Bozo almost 50 years ago. We've never been off the air, as you probably well know. We're still on WGN.
You better fix this thing up with Patch Adams.
Better patch it up.
I better patch it up with Adams, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're working on our first Bozo big-budget movie.
Woof.
And I'm hopeful that Robin Williams will be playing Bozo, and I will do a cameo in there called Papa Bozo.
I gotcha.
No.
Do you notice in today's world, instead of cram it, clown, the guy tells you to F off and then pulls his unit out or something?
The world has changed, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sure has, Bozo.
Oh, yeah, he'll pull a gun and say, no, I don't think you get it, clown. I won.
And the clowns are like Krusty.
Well... you've never heard of that back then, because they wouldn't let him on the air, yet alone in a door somewhere, to talk like he does.
Were you ever like Krusty at all?
Never.
No, you never got cynical?
Never.
No.
Never.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bozo, there was another show in Detroit called Milky's Party Time, and I was on that show when I was a Cub Scout, and Milky had a pretty foul mouth. I swear to God, during commercials, it was every GDMF or this, that, and the other. He got mad because one of the kids pushed a kid off a bleacher, and all hell broke loose.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that about anybody, because kids are very, very
impressionable.
They'll pick up on anything.
That's when I started swearing, right after that show, I swear. Hey, can I hear you do the Bozo laugh? You did a little bit earlier, but all of a sudden it jarred my memory. Can I just hear you cut loose with the old Bozo laugh?
Well, I guess that I've never said goodbye on any show anywhere in the world in any language when I didn't say, just remember what your old pal Bozo always says. Just keep laughing.
Fantastic.
Hey, Bozo,
That's great.
It's nice talking to you. It's good to hear that. I guess this Patch Adams thing is a little blown out of shape, but
It sure is.
we wish you luck with your movie.
Thank you. I hope you'll see Robin Williams and me both in the same movie.
I
know. It seems like that'd be a bit of work to get him to do that, wouldn't it?
No, I don't think so, because Whoopi Goldberg and William Hurt about 6 years ago started their own Bozo fan club.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, all three of them. I read that in Time magazine. That's how I picked up on it.
Well, that's cool. I'm not going to hold my breath, but I hope it does work out.
Yeah. So listen, he wore my red nose in this picture. He wore my big shoes. Why not the rest of the costume?
And the big orange hair and everything else. Well, I tell you honestly, I always thought that the Bozo costume, the way the suit is, and the orange hair and everything else was obviously the ultimate. The ultimate.
Well, it is around the world. Every place you go, they look for it's significant. The red, white, and blue. It's everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
How did it turn into like Bozo was a bad thing? Like, oh, that Bozo almost hit me.
Oh, that's right.
Like Mickey Mouse. That's a real Mickey Mouse something or other.
Yeah, it's weird.
right.
It didn't start out that way.
Yeah.
We have done so much good. I helped win the Nobel Peace Prize for UNICEF in 1966.
Hey.
I worked with President Johnson, Kennedy, President de Gaulle, Chiang Kai-shek, all over the world. All these good things happen, but when it says be a bozo or you're a bozo, it means do something good for somebody else and something good for yourself.
Hey, how about the expression for masturbation called punching the clown?
I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot razor station.
How can you bring that up to Bozo?
It was an evil thought and some evil thing on my shoulder.
Bozo, listen, we'll let you go, but we sure appreciate the time, and I'm so glad we could straighten this all out.
Well, it's all straightened out. I love Robin Williams. The show was great. Nothing wrong except you want to have a big laugh. Go see a wonderful show. It'll touch your hearts. And remember, you guys, I'll see you around like a donut. Take care, and thanks for having me on.
Oh, and see you, Bozo. Thanks for all the memories again, Bozo. Honestly, this was really cool.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I hope you invite me back again.
You bet.
Thank you.
See you, Bozo.
Shut your hole.
So basically, it was it was a phony war between Bozo and Patch Adams to generate
publicity.
A call to him to.
Oh man,
we were scammed by Bozo. He's not mad at anyone.
I know it.
No, that he's promoting the film. He's like blowing him to death and trying to get him to do his movie.
You've just been conned.
Drew and Mike.
I won't go schizo, will I?
101 WRIF. The Riff. 1 WRIF.
From Birmingham, Michigan, Mike Lodish is on the line. Hey, Mike.
Hello.
Hey.
How's the Super Bowl going?
Pretty good. It's a little early this morning, but
yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah, we got a little media day thing today.
Mike is about to play in his 6th Super Bowl. Has anyone else played in 6?
No, I don't think so.
Man, you must feel like the luckiest guy in the world, or the best player in the world.
Oh, I doubt I'm that. I'm the luckiest player, but I doubt I'm the best.
Mike,
well, I figured I'd let you say that.
Strongly doubt that point.
What's it like leading up to the Super Bowl? You know, as these days tick by, is it pretty nuts?
Yeah, it's crazy. I thought you guys would be out here today.
I know. I can
I'd
imagine.
love to be down there.
Oh, the parties. Are there just parties all over the place?
I'm sure there are, but
yeah,
curfew every night. So.
Yeah.
Mike, what about in the Buffalo days, like going to your first Super Bowl? Did people get out of hand? They were just so excited, and they get caught up in the revelry, and next thing you know, they're coming in at 5 in the morning.
You know, I'm sure some of the guys probably enjoyed themselves. We didn't have much of a curfew the first couple nights.
Well, what would...
I can't speak for anybody but myself.
Right. And were you ever coming in at 5 in the morning?
No, I don't think I was.
No. Okay.
4.
Not that I can't remember.
Yeah.
4:45. But
Yeah.
Hey, which Buffalo Super Bowl was the toughest? Because you were in all 4 of those Super Bowls, and I cannot imagine anything that would be harder on your psyche than losing 4 consecutive Super Bowls. Was one of them harder than the other, or did they get progressively worse?
The first one was the toughest.
To the Giants?
Yeah, we got our butts whipped in the last 3.
Mm-hmm.
But the Giants game was tough. You know, we came down to the kick at the end, and that was tough to swallow.
Did you guys, we heard all the jokes. Did the players hear them all, too?
Yeah, and I heard you guys for years talk about it.
I was trying to remember some of them. What was the area code in Buffalo?
I don't know.
0-0. 0-4. I forgot. I couldn't remember any of them. But
you guys have so many of them, I lost track.
And then how did it feel to finally win one after losing 4 last year? Obviously, it must have been nuts.
Well, it was awesome. Yeah. It was just like a couple of my buddies on the Red Wings felt, you know, it's the greatest feeling in the world. You're a world champion.
Yeah.
You guys know that? You guys are world champion.
I don't think we know that feeling.
Do you know that?
What's that?
You guys are known out here. They're in Denver.
Is that a fact?
Oh, yeah. I get so much grief wearing my red hat with the Wings check on it.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's the worst. You know, but I don't know. I need some support.
Well, tell us about the blowout after the Super Bowl, because I just imagine the most incredible night of partying in the history of mankind if I were ever to get a Super Bowl ring. Tell us about the night last year.
Actually, it was crazy last year.
Yeah, with Elway.
In that hotel, we stayed in La Jolla. That was a really nice place, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And it just was so crazy. There were so many fans at the party. We don't know how they got there, but everybody just got inundated with fans. Like, can I have your autograph? Can I do this? You couldn't do anything.
But it was just
then that sucks.
Yeah, pop-topping.
Well, that's kind of tough. You know, I don't mind helping the fans, you know, but, I mean, for a guy like John Elway or Terrell Davis, geez, they couldn't go anywhere. They had to stay up in their rooms.
Yeah.
Right.
So Shanahan this year ousted everybody, just teammates, family, and that's it. So it's going to be a good time.
Well, there's some chicks popping their top at that party.
No, they kept it pretty clean, man.
Really?
Chicks don't want to.
They kept it pretty clean.
Chicks don't want to sleep with football players. I don't know what the problem is.
They want to sleep with radio DJs.
Oh yeah.
Now, hey, do we get more snow there in Detroit?
We got about 4 or 5 inches on Sunday night.
Got hit the other day, yeah. But then it melted pretty quick, so it was really weird snow.
Buried in.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Now, I picture you in your 6th Super Bowl and playing linemen, too. Do linemen get uptight about playing in the Super Bowl? Because, I mean, you don't have to, it's not really that high pressure in terms of like a quarterback or a wideout or a running back who can make the big fumble. Are you a little looser than the specialty players?
No, I'm pretty wound up. I'm wound up like, I'm as tight as a drum before the game.
Really?
I mean, I shouldn't say tight, but I'm ready to go. I'm pretty aggressive, emotional player. This guy, Brian Beebe, last year was like that. We called him Bieber. He was our right guard. This guy paced for 4 hours before the game. He was dressed and ready to go at 8:30. Just like Hacksaw Reynolds. You guys remember Hacksaw Reynolds?
Oh, yeah.
He
Complete
was
nut.
The game with his gear on. So Habib wasn't that bad, but he was close. And he would pace. He'd wear the carpet out. We just watched him pace for 4 hours.
What's your ritual like? I mean, this is your 6th one, so you probably have a ritual by now.
Well, I usually have to get up in the morning and take care of business. You know what that means.
Yeah.
Just, do the 3 S's.
Mm-hmm.
And I pretty much eat the same thing before the game. Just a lot of pasta, a lot of pancakes. And then get to the game about 4 hours before and fall asleep an hour before.
Oh, you crash before the game?
Just right when I get there, just lay down for a minute just to relax a little bit.
Right.
And then usually the guys that, a lot of people go early, so the taping, you have to wait in line.
Could you do that your first Super Bowl? I can't imagine not being so keyed up.
Oh, yeah, my first Super Bowl was just ridiculous. Yeah, I
learned to
threw
relax.
up like 3 times.
Is that right? Well, it's got to be weird for Atlanta, huh?
It was one of those chain reaction things, I saw one of the guys in the locker room throwing up, and all of a sudden, like, you get the Earl Whiff smell.
Yeah, I've always said that. Once somebody pukes, everybody pukes.
Yeah, it's like chain reaction.
Yeah, vomitorium.
Mike, I read a story in Sports Illustrated that claims that there's one Bronco player who throws up before or during every game, and there's an offensive lineman, I think, who relieves himself in his uniform.
No.
That's what, I swear to God, that's what it said. And you guys call him Stinky?
No. Stinky is Mark Schlereth.
Schlereth,
they
right.
call him Stinky because he's from Alaska originally, Mark is, and I guess Stinky means that the Eskimos would put dead fish into the ground, and they would preserve them that way, and then they'd take them out of the ground and eat them, and they call them Stinky.
Oh, man.
So he calls himself Stinky. Everybody calls him Stinky.
I swear to God that was in Sports Illustrated.
Well, I think they might have done that to him just to get him, but because Stinky, as we call him, he loves to joke around.
Uh-huh.
I should give you his room number.
Oh, yeah, you definitely should.
No, I can't. No, but he's the big practical joker on the offensive line. Mark Schlereth.
Right. Now, this whole thing with Dan Reeves and Shanahan and Elway and all that controversy, which Reeves really kind of brought up last week. He claimed he thought Shanahan was sort of plotting behind his back, and he had him fired, and then he only lasted one more year, and Elway and Reeves in there. Is that just a big bunch of media hype, or does that actually mean anything to the people involved?
I mean, from what we hear, with what Mike says, Mike says that he doesn't understand why this guy doesn't like him, but Shanahan wants to embarrass his football team, so I'm sure some of it's probably true, but we really don't understand what's going on. I mean, a lot of the guys that weren't here. I mean, there's only a few guys that were here, like Atwater and Tyrone Braxton, obviously Elway. I don't know if anybody really else was on the team that was around when Dan Reeves was here.
But there's really a little extra of that if we want to kick Dan Reeves' ass for Shanahan and Elway?
No, I think it's more we just want to kick Shanahan or Reeves' ass because he's the head coach of the Falcons. But no, I mean, Dan Reeves, I've heard nothing but good things about him through everybody around the league, except for this media stuff.
Yeah.
So I really don't know the man. I was never coached by him. I don't know anything about him. But he's going to have his boys ready to go, and we're going to have to be playing on the top of our game to win.
Well, I thought it would be a good game, and
it's going to be a good game.
Until I saw Buchanan guaranteed victory for the Falcons. That's
well, we just keeping that one in the shoebox, aren't we?
Is that up on the bulletin board?
Oh, yeah. That's quote. And, really, I mean, out of all true, in respect to the Falcons, I think they sort of coerced him into saying that, out of all true respect to Ray Buchanan, but you still can't guarantee anything, and you know what you're saying. So that kind of burned at us a little bit.
Yeah, he's been around a while, too.
Yeah, I mean, granted, they did what we did last year. They went on the road, but they certainly beat a team that had the best record in the league since the Dolphins. So, I mean, that was an amazing accomplishment. We all felt that they were good enough to beat them, but, like we said, we give this team a lot of respect, and we really, really do.
Well, they've got to be
football team, and they got a great runner in Jamal Anderson, and they've got a great defense, and they're going to be very, very tough.
We're having our first actual interview with a Super Bowl participant, as opposed to just weaseling into someone's room, and it's
weasel into a lot of rooms. I listen to you every morning when I come home.
Oh, good. Yeah,
That's all right.
We've gotten into Greg Maddox's room during the World Series.
Do that. Where do you guys work your magic?
I think. Well, what did we mispronounce his name, or did we say we had a package?
It's got to be that kind of thing. It's just a weak receptionist,
We have a package. And
then when they're not
that works. It's pretty effective. And then when they aren't very helpful, we just say, well, I guess I'll just keep the package.
Yeah.
And then they get bummed out.
The security here is so tight, it's ridiculous.
Is it?
Yeah, I got stopped. Like, how many white ball-headed guys do you know that are on the team that, I tried to go into a room and say, sorry, you don't have your credentials. Well, come on, guys.
Well, what are you, 6'3", 280 or something?
No, I'm a little lighter than that right now. I'm probably about 275. But, I'm right around that figure.
Mike Lodish is our first official Super Bowl interview from Brother Rice in Birmingham. How dominant were you at Brother Rice?
How dominant was I at Brother Rice?
Did you play
pretty good.
Did you play fullback too?
No, I didn't play defense.
Oh.
God, we had 100 guys on our freshman team. And there was about 800 in the class. I think JV, varsity, and freshman team all had 100 guys.
I just figure anybody in the NFL would be playing both ways in high school.
No, you guys might go both ways, but I don't.
How did you get out of the state? Why didn't Michigan or Michigan State get a hold of you?
Well, I committed to Michigan. I had that was my second trip there. And I enjoyed it so much that I committed to Michigan, actually. And my buddy, Chuck McSwigan, he's going to hate me because he's a Michigan State guy. But I just asked Bo Schembechler if he could just please be quiet. Or somehow it got in the paper. I wanted to get pampered for the next 3 trips. You know? But then I went out to California, and they took me to Zuma Beach.
Yeah.
And that's all it took.
So how pissed was Bo?
Yeah, I think he was pretty pissed.
Was he?
Yeah, but, oh well. I mean, things work out for a reason, and I guess it worked out well.
Yeah, UCLA wasn't a bad place, but, I was in my football encyclopedia last night, and I saw, man, 10th round, and the guy gets in 6 Super Bowls. Not bad.
Yeah, I got pretty lucky. There's a guy, my coach in the first couple of years, his name was Chuck Dickerson. He works for WJR Radio in Buffalo now. He was really the guy that I owe a lot of my success in the league to, or at least my opportunities to play on the football teams. Because the pro game and the college game are completely different. You have, in college, you go up against a guy one week, let's say I played against Mike Utley when he was at Washington State, and you're like, oh, God, this guy's a tough guy. Now I got to really put my thinking cap on and do my best against this guy. But then next week you might, this guy's kind of whatever. Well, up here at the pros, it's like All-American, 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 all the way down the line, and you have to perform every single play at your best. So it's very, very challenging.
God, I can imagine.
Did you play with Troy?
No, I didn't play with him. I played on the same team, but no.
Troy!
No, yeah, actually, Troy and I, we played at UCLA for 3 years together.
Mm-hmm.
I was a sophomore when he first had his chance to play. I guess when he left Norman to come to Westwood, Switzer agreed with Switzer tricked Donahue into agreeing with him by saying, okay, we won't bring Troy in until after we play you guys at Oklahoma. Well, we could have used everything, all the help we needed. We lost like 52-7. I think Brian Bosworth single-handedly destroyed us.
How could anybody believe Barry Switzer?
I know, I don't understand that.
Hey,
well, Jerry's a nice guy.
What would our chances be of getting into John Elway's room? What do you think, Mike?
Well, physically?
No, just on the phone.
That would be virtually impossible.
Really?
He's under an alias.
But how isolated, how intense is it?
Like I said earlier, the security's just ridiculous.
What if we had a package, though, that included the playbook?
I don't think that. You know what? I would love to see you guys try. I would love to see it, but
why don't we try?
It never happened.
Do we even have the hotel?
He won't even give that up.
You won't give us the hotel?
Oh, I can't do that.
Did you give them the Falcons hotel?
No. They're staying down in Miami.
Do you know the hotel? I mean, without saying it on the air.
Well, you know, out of all due respect to my colleagues in the league, I can't do that.
Hey, did you star 6-7 before you called us?
No, actually, I just got a wake-up call. I just got up about 10 minutes ago.
Okay, we'll star 6-9 and find out where you are.
Don't worry, they put a block on that.
Oh, no, are you kidding me?
I believe that.
Oh,
I believe that.
So, okay.
Oh, man.
So what's
the topic on the radio today?
Well, we actually had a list of funny but real names, which we've done many times before, and we talked to, a few dick handlers.
Mm-hmm.
And
we're trying to get a hold of C. Matthew Dick.
C. Matthews Dick, isn't
it? That's right. Yeah, Clay Hardon.
Where's the rest of that list?
Oh, man. And there's actually one called Dick Vane, swear to God. Isn't that horrible? And they don't change their name. Dick Small.
That's awful.
Oh, that's just the beginning of that.
I know, it's just crazy.
Well, you figure
who does all this? Does Mark, the producer, or whoever?
Well, he does some of it.
Who's doing all the legwork on this stuff?
This was actually sent in by a listener named Ted Kennedy. Subject, a bunch of dicks. And then he's got phone numbers for Richard Throb, Richard Stroker, Dick Lover, Dick Eater, Dick Wrinkle, Dick Monger, Dick Pound, Dick Face, Dick Hung, Dick Hair, Dick Mangler.
Why did your parents do that to you?
I know it.
I don't know.
It's too weird.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Hey, so I've been trying to follow the Wings since I've been in Denver, and what are we? We were, 4 or 5 games over 500 at the break?
We're 23-20. But I think
we got to give our best to Steve Eiserman. I know
it.
And I really feel bad for the guy because, but he's one of those guys that's going to come back and come back strong.
He's going to play on Saturday.
Is he really?
Yeah, and he was angry. He didn't want to miss the All-Star game, but...
so he's all right then.
Oh, yeah, he's fine.
It's amazing, isn't it?
He's angry he's missing the All-Star game and he had half his face broken by a
I know it. It's like between the broken nose and then God knows how many stitches above his eye, and then I think a few days or a week before that he had 20 stitches in his ear, and oh, man.
But how about the irony of his injury? Paul Coffey hit him with the puck.
I know. And Keith Primo caused it to boot.
Yeah.
Those two.
I mean, it's just crazy.
Oh, I know it.
But he's all right then, right?
He'll be fine. I think they're just a little hungover from the second cup, and they know how to put it together.
Yeah, I think they'll come together.
I'm not worried about it.
It's a weird scene with Shanny lately, It's like Bowman's in the paper with, the idea that they might shop him, and I don't know if they're just trying to get him going or whatever, but he's been in a slump, so.
Has he really?
Yeah.
He'll get out of it.
Oh, yeah.
He'll come through the second half.
Yeah.
Hey, so Mike, what's on the schedule today for the Super Bowl Denver Broncos?
Day today, boys.
Is that a bummer?
Yeah. Is there a lady in the studio by any chance?
Yeah, Trudy's here.
Oh, Trudy, okay.
Yeah.
All right, because Trudy, you haven't said anything. Are you up?
I asked you the hurl question.
Oh, were you part of the hurl question?
Yeah, that was me.
That hurl whip, that gets you every time.
Hurl whip. I know it well. I'm usually the person who I start it, though, so...
Hey, Mike, how many, I know, like, John Elway will have 1,000 microphones around him.
Oh, yeah.
And I would think that because you're in your 6th Super Bowl, even though you play in the line, there will probably be a lot of microphones around you.
I'll probably get a lot of attention, but hopefully I can just interview myself with my own video camera.
Well, that must take a lot of energy to get through a day like that.
No, but on all seriousness, the questions that they ask you are the stupidest questions in the world.
Even dumber than the ones...
I have a board made up of like 10 questions, or 10 answers.
Yeah.
So if they ask me a stupid question, I just pick which stupid answer I want to give them.
Is it going to have to do with God? The answer?
Well, I'm a religious guy and I believe in God, but I don't know if I agree with everybody using the NFL as like a religious vehicle.
Well, yeah, because
that's a different issue, and we'll leave that alone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I get the feeling that some of these guys are really not even that interested in football. They're just kind of looking upwards for something good to happen. I mean, that's what it sounds like.
That's good. I think that all exemplifies something, morally good, and they believe in God, and that, that's...
But it just implies, though, that God isn't so happy about the other team, That's the problem.
And you can never find out anything about the game.
Yeah.
What's that?
I say you can never find anything out about the game because Randall Cunningham will only talk about God afterwards.
Yeah, Chris Carter.
And again, everybody's different, and to each is his own, but, I think there's a time and a place for everything, and God understands that for the 3 hours that you're playing football, that, you're playing hard, because you want to please God, please Jesus, as they say, but at the same time, you're out there to try to further your career and do the best that you can for yourself and your team. And you know how it is.
Well, I tell you,
I can see why a guy that's been in...
You dealt with them at a sport level in the stadium and then left alone. And church should be dealt with in church.
I wouldn't be knocking God if I'd been in 6 Super Bowls either.
Hey, I'm not knocking God, believe me.
No, I know you're not.
I'm a practicing Catholic. I was born and raised Catholic, so...
For the first time, I actually was able to walk out on that AstroTurf, and I tell you, after experiencing that, it's like I think I would go with God before the game. I don't see how you guys play on that. I mean, that's just ridiculous. You might as well be on a concrete floor. That is asinine.
I don't like AstroTurf.
Oh, man, I'm surprised everybody doesn't break everything on their body in the first play.
But you'd be surprised the difference that, in the how fast you are on AstroTurf compared to grass. And like last weekend when we played the Jets, last weekend we played the Jets, Curtis Martin, we knew was an AstroTurf back. He got on grass and he got 18 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we tried to take him out of the game, not physically, but we wanted to eliminate the running game completely, and so we were focused on that on defense. But on AstroTurf, those running backs can cut on a dime, and they can make you look stupid.
Barry looks a little quicker on turf.
Well, he's another one. He's a turf back too, but I've still seen him destroy people, like in Chicago on the grass. I mean, he can still hurt you. That's a guy that can kill you at any given minute. But there's certain guys that are AstroTurf backs.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mike, how sweaty were you in that Jets game? Because it really looked like they had you guys on the line there in the third quarter.
Actually, I was sweaty before the third quarter. At the first half, at the end of the first half, it was very strange because the game was such like a seesaw game, It was just weird, and we were down 3 points. And then they started picking it up, like you say, in the third quarter, and we were just like, everybody just hung tight. But, the feeling on the bench wasn't, no one was really panicking, to be honest with you. There was concern. Of course there's concern. But we just needed to score a touchdown and get our groove going, as we say it. And we did that, and we came out victorious. And then once Terrell started running the ball, it's over. If you can run, like if Jamal Anderson can run 150 yards on us, we're in trouble.
That pass to McCaffrey was just humongous, too.
Like I said, that's it. It's just one play, One play will break the whole thing open.
Yeah.
And that 60-yard pass to Eddie Mack, we call him Forrest Gump. He can run, but he likes his haircut just like Forrest did.
Yeah, I hear
that. That's why they call him Forrest Gump. And, it's just, that's what we needed, though. We needed a big play like that from Eddie, and then the touchdown, and, it's, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, how about that? A bomb to the Caucasian whiteout gets you back in the game.
Let me tell you something. That Caucasian whiteout has made it to the Pro Bowl unanimously.
I know.
So he has a lot of respect from his peers that are Afro-American.
And Caucasian.
And Caucasian. But there's not too many Caucasian DBs in the league,
And not too many kick returners either.
White guys can run it backwards fast and chew gum at the same time.
That Tim Dwight, man, he's something else.
Oh, yeah. He's tight.
There's a little Caucasian pride there.
Well, John Beebe played with me in Buffalo for a number of years and ran a 4.240.
That was one of the coolest plays I've ever seen in the Super Bowl when he ran. Was it Leon Lett he ran down?
Sure did.
Yeah.
He's another guy that was on a team that went to 6 Super Bowls, but he didn't get a chance to dress in the last couple, I think.
With Green Bay?
Yeah, with Green Bay. He won a championship with Green Bay, and then the next year, which was obviously last year, he lost.
Did you hear from a lot of your Buffalo teammates when you finally got to win a Super Bowl, Mike?
Yeah, I did, actually. They all congratulated me, and Jim Kelly was a guy that called me up and let me know that he was, that he congratulated me. But for the most part, I only heard from like 3 or 4 of them, actually. I don't stay in contact with too many of them.
Yeah, I would think there'd be a few red asses.
Went their own ways.
Right. Well, listen, Mike Lodish, sure appreciate getting to talk to you. We're going to pencil you in for Friday morning, too, before the Super Bowl, if that's okay.
No, why don't you pencil me in for Sunday morning?
Would that be more convenient?
And if I'm not here, I'll call you back.
Hey, what about Monday morning? If you win.
Oh, no.
No?
If we win, I'll just be getting into sleep, or to bed when you guys are getting
That's why it'd be so much fun to talk to you.
Oh, no.
Be in a great mood.
My inhibitions would be down.
He lives in this town.
I nerve myself way too much.
All right. Well, did we get all the information we needed out of Mike?
Yeah.
We did? Okay. Hey, good luck, Mike.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
We sure appreciate it.
It's going to be awesome.
All right, man.
Okay, call us in the off-season.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Drew and Mike.
Something gay, no doubt. Light-hearted, fancy-free.
101 WRIF. The Riff.
I-Riff at WRIF.
We were on Funny Names again the other day, and somebody just sent us in a list of dick handlers, and then we got this other list of Dick Throb, Dick Hair, Dick Mangler, Dick Knob, Dick Bent,
Brother.
Dick Head.
What is the chance?
Dick Face, Richard Face.
That's ridiculous.
Baby, don't hurt me.
This is ridiculous.
No more.
And apparently, God. Dick Handler requested this music for our call to him, which is weird because he ended up not really liking the call, but this is the music he wanted. From earlier this morning. It's 10 after 8 at WRIF. And it's, I was going to say Terrell Davis outside, but it's really more like Derek Laville or Tyrone Braxton. Tyrone Braxton outside, 34. Should get to the upper 30s today. Chance of rain tonight, and then tomorrow upper 40s with some clouds and kind of breezy. And it is 34 right now at the Riff. Yeah, is there a Dick Handler there? It's Drew and Mike calling on WRIF Radio. We were looking for a Dick Handler.
1 minute.
Okay. Profession.
It's your shield.
On his tax form, occupation, Dick Handler.
Shield Richard, by the way.
Of course.
Hello? Yeah, is this the Dick Handler?
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Drew and Mike calling on WRIF Radio. We were calling people with funny but real names that people had kind of pulled off the search.
Yeah.
And we were wondering if, do people give you a bad time about being a Dick Handler?
Nope, never had any problems.
Is that right? Nobody ever made a joke about it or anything?
Nope, I'm a good all-American fella.
Yeah. So you never had...
In other words, you're not that way.
So,
Well, I don't know what way you're talking about.
well, I mean, you know...
Dick Handler.
Well, I don't know Dick Handler.
Yeah. Well, you don't have people come up to you and go like, hey, so how much is it to handle my dick,
Look, I don't know who you are, fella, but whoever you are, cut it.
Well, sorry, I didn't mean to get all heavy about it.
Yeah,
I just thought it was,
you know.
Dick?
Dick Handler?
Whoever you are.
We
Cut
lost... Cut it. We lost our Dick Handler.
I thought everything was cool there.
I did too.
I mean, there's no harm intended. I think apparently we're the first people to ever imply that there's anything funny about that name.
Yeah, I guess.
He's been kind of getting over by calling himself Richard all this time.
Oh yeah. Which means that, there's knowledge of it. Who decided to search on Dick Handler?
Someone's niece.
Oh, man.
My niece found this name, and we did a search on Yahoo.
Oh, no kidding.
Check out how many Dick Handlers there are.
What's the answering machine going to say?
Hello, you reached the Handler residence. Nobody's home right now to take your call, but if you leave your name and number, somebody will get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks a lot and have a great day.
Sounds like a potential Dick Handler.
Oh yeah.
Yes, trying to find a Dick Handler. Could we get the Dick Handler to pick up, please?
If he's not tied up?
If he's got a free hand.
If he's handling dicks, we understand. No problem. I mean, that's his occupation. What else should he be doing? Well, that may go like a fart in church when they...
We don't want to interrupt him if he's dick handling, but...
Dick handlers do have a mission. That's a job with a goal.
He makes that kind of quizzical face every time he sees one. Like, let's see, how am I going to handle this one?
We're sorry, you have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service.
That dick handler is out of service.
How much mileage can we get? How much? How much mileage is this list is long, I guess.
You're that way. I just had a flashback to that Harry, or what was it? Was it something twat?
Yeah, somebody twat.
Yeah, and then that lady said,
I am not a twat. Her husband was, though.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And she really meant it was like, I'm not in the twat family.
Right. She was adamant.
Boy, was she ever. I mean, it was said with folded arms.
Yeah, hi, I'm sorry to bother you. It's Drew and Mike on WRIF Radio. We're trying to find a dick handler.
Not here right now, may I please take a message?
No, is he at work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is your mommy there? Okay. Talk to Dick Handler. Dick Handler?
Sure.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm sorry to bother you. We're trying to find a dick handler.
Well, my father-in-law was named Dick Handler. He's been dead for several years.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. I'm sorry. Was this his phone number formerly?
No, it wasn't. But my husband's name is Richard. He has never been called Dick.
Oh. Well, I guess that's understandable.
Yep. That's what I would do.
Can I help you with anything?
No, it's okay if he's not there. We were trying to find a dick handler, but apparently there's
well, you know
not
what?
one there except for you.
How old are you?
39, if you must know.
13? Or is it maybe 7?
No, ma'am, I'm sorry. I apparently got the wrong number or something.
No, apparently you really have a totally infantile sense of humor.
Well, it's a funny name. Hello?
There's somebody that has put up with a lot of jokes in their day.
Oh, boy.
You see? They knew it. They could have changed the name.
Come on, lady.
Yeah, it's to react like that, they have a history. They've taken a
Wait a minute, lady.
Let's face it, half the population is dick handlers.
Yeah, really.
Being a dick handler is nothing to be ashamed of. Just because you're named one.
Yeah. I mean, if you're such a big dick handler that your name becomes Dick Handler, then you're way too into it.
Hey, look, we're not carried away with it. It's just because you guys have 2 dick handlers in your house.
It seems to be a preoccupation with you people. And your husband is so excessive that he's been nicknamed Dick Handler.
Just because you're a house full of dick handlers, my God.
Ain't that right, bitch?
Well, hopefully it's a recessive gene, and the kid has escaped being a dick handler.
You're not kidding. Oh, man. I wonder at what age in your development you realize, God, I'm a dick handler.
Well, probably about that point, some guy grabs your hand and shoves it down there.
Yeah, right.
Oh, well.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Yeah,
enough
fine.
of the dick handlers.
Attack our maturity. It's not about that at all. You know, it's about the fact that you haven't changed your name and you're so super sensitive to it.
I think she's got a maturity problem.
Well, that's
she
right.
can't see any humor in it. Excuse me.
That's right. That's right. And who's to say it was a joke? We're simply looking for the dick handler. You know, she reacted crazy.
Yeah, actually, there was no entendre made at that point.
No,
it
that's
was
right.
Totally innocent. It wasn't, but I mean, it could have been.
Right, totally
just because she immediately leaped to the ugliest possible world available.
Right.
With we're trying to find a dick handler.
Exactly.
Well, hopefully she'll grow up and be able to deal with it.
Yeah,
one of these days.
I mean, if she ever gets a call from any kind of a firm or, workers, the plumber and so forth, they're all going to call and say, is there a dick handler?
If you're going to have more than one dick handler in the house, you might want to get used to hearing about it occasionally from someone.
There can only be one dick handler underneath this roof. Two's a crowd.
You know what? I think this house can handle 2 dick handlers. Come on in. When the father-in-law was there were 3 dick handlers.
Oh, my God, there were.
3 of them. The place was a factory.
It was. At night when the shades were drawn and the lights were on, the silhouettes were unbelievable from the street.
For crying out loud.
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
It's someone's name. It was a joke.
Yeah.
Jeez. It's just a joke. Just an innocent joke. It's someone's name. It's over. The page is done.
Yep. So a little playtime, okay? Something to take the load off, something to...
Recess is over.
Yeah.
Go back to being Richard Handler.
Yeah, right.
See more butts? Anyone here see more butts?
Drew and Mike.
Don't lose the intensity.
101 W.